History remembers the heroes of great battles, the generals who lead thunderous charges and change the course of nations with fire and steel. But what about the heroes who prevent battles from ever happening? Today, we uncovering the story of a forgotten captain, whose greatest victory was the one that was never fought. It's the winter of 1814. The War of 1812 is officially over. In Europe, diplomats have signed the Treaty of Ghent, bringing an end to the conflict. But on the frozen northern frontier of America, news travels at the speed of a horse, not an email. Along the icy shores of Lake Champlain, American and British soldiers are still staring each other down, completely unaware that peace has been declared. This is where we meet Captain Elias Monroe, an American officer stationed at a small isolated fort near Plattsburgh, New York. His garrison is small, just 120 men, and they're running low on supplies after a brutal winter. Monroe isn't a famous warrior. He's a student of strategy, a man who understands that communication and timing can be more powerful than cannons. One day, his scouts bring him urgent news. A large British supply convoy is moving south. They don't know the war is over. If they advance, they'll inevitably clash with American forces, reigniting the conflict and shattering the fragile peace before it even begins. Monroe is at a crossroads. Attacking the larger British force would be a suicide mission. But doing nothing could lead to a pointless, bloody battle. Most commanders would have prepared for a desperate fight. But Captain Monroe did something different. He chose to fight with information, not firepower. He knew that speed was everything. He gathered his best mounted couriers and local indigenous guides, people who knew the frozen rivers and hidden forest trails better than anyone. Their mission wasn't to fight, but to race against time, carrying copies of the peace treaty to intercept the British before a single shot was fired. But he didn't stop there. Monroe understood the psychology of warfare. He ordered his men to build up their defenses, making their small fort look much stronger and more prepared than it actually was. He set up a network of signal fires along the ridges, creating the illusion of a vast, coordinated defense system. From a distance, it looked like a trap. As the British convoy advanced, their scouts reported the fortified American positions and the mysterious signal fires. The British commander became cautious, uncertain of the strength he was facing. He slowed his advance, hesitating just long enough for Monroe's plan to work. Finally, after a grueling 60-mile journey through the freezing wilderness, one of Monroe's couriers reached the British forward command. He presented the officer with authenticated copies of the Treaty of Ghent. The British commander was skeptical but agreed to halt his advance until he could get confirmation. That delay was everything. It prevented a final tragic battle. Within a week, official word of peace reached both sides. The soldiers who had been preparing for combat laid down their arms. The war on the northern frontier ended not with a bang, but with a quiet, mutual understanding. Captain Elias Monroe never became a household name. His story isn't found in grand paintings or heroic tales. His victory was silent, measured by the lives that were saved and the peace that was preserved. Decades later, historians discovered letters praising his measured judgment and disciplined restraint. Monroe's story is a powerful reminder that true leadership isn't always about winning a fight. Sometimes it's about having the wisdom to prevent one. He proved that in the delicate moments between war and peace, communication, strategy, and foresight can be the most powerful weapons of all. History may not always remember the quiet heroes, but their impact is just as profound. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this hidden story from history, make sure to like and subscribe for more. We'll see you next time.